What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, of course, Earl Christian III, a.k.a. Big Business for all my YouTubers and my MySpace people. You know what it is. Today, we want to talk about something real serious. You know, the past few episodes, I've been addressing, urban issues, the plight of urban schools, the plight of urban America, where we are as a people. Are we responsible for ourselves? Are we accountable for ourselves? Are we being as responsible and accountable to and for ourselves as we should be? Are we contributing to the fact that we're becoming an endangered species? Well, I got a very young, dynamic brother in the house who's very conscious, and it makes me feel good to see that the youth are paying attention and they want to talk about it and get off his chest. So we're going to talk about some things. So if you have issues with the way urban America is turning out or the way the schools are turning out, or this our whole existence in general and how we're being treated, we're going to talk about it. But I also want you to know this. Let's not put all the onus on everybody else. We got to start accepting responsibility, too. With that said, I want to introduce my guest, Mr. Lue Diamonds, my brother.
What it is, how you
good.
doing?
You know what it is. So here we are. We're about to get it popping.
Yes, sir.
Because for me, you represent, that generation right now, that Generation X. The youth that's living in these times with, with a lot of, profiling and brutality and seemingly complete and total disregard for urban youth. And when I say urban, we're not just talking about black and Latino, you know what I'm saying? Because it happens to everybody. Yep. But unfortunately, it seems like it's happening to us the most. Yes. So I really want to talk about it because, I'm a little bit older, you know what I'm saying? And my generation had to deal with it, and I still deal with it now. But at the same time, I know the times being, in your 20s, in 2008 has to be a whole lot different than when I was in my 20s. So I want to talk about, I know you got some things to talk about, so we just going to get it right into it, and let's get it in, man. Yeah,
basically, being young, black, or Hispanic in New York City today, is tough because you're basically going to be targeted.
No question.
Police don't know the difference between a brother who sell crack and a brother who work at the Wayne Reed.
Or kids to know the difference.
Exactly, so. And these cops who's being hired to patrol our neighborhoods don't know nothing about the neighborhood, so they look at us like we all guilty. They scared, that's why they got to shoot an unarmed young man 50 times, There's no justification for that. So.
Right. Now, speaking of that, I know you were at the Sean Bell rally today.
Yeah, I was there just a little earlier. Yeah.
I was reading about it, and I definitely saw the masses and the people out there. Tell me, what was that experience like, bro?
It was an incredible experience to see how we could come together, black, Latinos, even white folks was there, Asian, Indian, everybody, kids, old people, our elders. It was real interesting. Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings, everybody was there. So it was a great experience. I didn't see any rappers there. I'm from Harlem. I'm up and coming, but there's a lot of rap artists from Harlem, who represent the street. But I didn't see none of them there. It was kind of shocking to me. Disappointing, but
definitely,
it is what it is. The real people who, if you really care about the community, you was there because there was a location in Harlem where I live, in East Harlem. 125th and 3rd, it's right there. So if you wasn't there, what does that say?
Yeah.
You had something better to do? This is about you. If you black or Hispanic.
And that's kind of surprising, specifically when seemingly in the last 3-4 years, there's been such an outcry from the hip-hop community with the HipHop Police.
Right.
We getting targeted for this. So now, maybe it seems like if the attention is shifted off of the hip-hoppers, are we forgetting? Because it could be you again. That could be Sean Bell. Sean Bell could have been Lil Wayne. It could have been Busta Rhymes. It could have been Cameron. It could have been Jewel. It could have been you. It could have been me. It could have been any one of us.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about that. Now I want to see how does it make you feel? Just being living in this climate in New York City and seeing how the brutality is. Let's be clear, this is not about bashing the police, because there are definitely good police officers out there. I know a few, and they do the right thing. But with anything, you have good and bad. But it's about balance. And then once again, it's about knowing how to handle yourself when you are confronted by a police officer. Because unfortunately, you may not be able to tell on first glance who's a good one, who's a bad one, who needs to make that quota. So you got to be really conscious of your actions. And that's why when I say, if we're becoming an endangered species, and seeming like we are, it seems to me that the youth, as well as the elders, we have to start doing things that will counter the behavior of those that seek to destroy and oppress us.
Right.
And I want to know how you feel about that, and what you feel the youth, because this is your generation, what do you feel the youth is missing? What do you feel the youth needs to do for themselves if they really want to change some of the plight of their futures?
There's a lot we could do. It's real tough, especially when you don't got any leaders. It's like we got to be our own leaders, you know what I'm saying? We can't just follow somebody because only we know what it's like to be young in America. I'm speaking from New York state of mind, but
at this time anyway.
This time. Right. So it's like we got to just see what we want. You know, we gotta lead by example. You know, we gotta let police know that we matter. You know, I'm pretty sure if 3 cops, if it came out in the news, 3 police officers shot down a dog 50 times, they would at least been on probation, or they would at least been fined or went to jail for a year, something. They would have been punished some way. So basically, for them killing Sean Bell, you know, shooting 50 times or whatever, they basically saying we less than animals, and this is ridiculous. Something has to be done, and
it's real. But and sadly, you know, in many circles, you know, over the course of history in America, you know, we have been considered or deemed less than animals or things of that nature. But here's what I say: that's what someone else feels about us, right? And one thing I learned growing up is I never let someone else's opinion of me become my opinion of myself. So what I feel is the youth have to become more conscious about who they are and where they're going, as opposed to just subscribing to a lot of the miseducated and misleading indoctrinations that America might want to bestow upon you. And it's real, and it's definitely a tough road and a tough road and cross to bear, and that's why we talk about this on the show. But when it says we're becoming an endangered species, and I like that, and you like that topic, endangered species. You know, what do you understand an endangered species to be, Lou?
We basically, they're just trying to eliminate us. I don't feel like they're doing it intentionally, but like we are. You know, when a cop comes to work, I'm pretty sure he says, okay, let's ride around Harlem or Brooklyn today and find some, you know, niggas or whatever. You know, they're not going to drive back. Police aren't in Harlem and Brooklyn patrolling the neighborhood to protect us. They're here to apprehend us. I feel it's crazy because, like, even in a white neighborhood or a middle-class black neighborhood, you know, when cops come around there, you know, even the white kids, they look at it, oh, yes, the police are here, you know, yay, or whatever. Even the kids in our neighborhoods look at them as bad guys. When they come to my block, even the kids is looking at cops like, oh, the police are here, they running away. So that's a problem. They should be good for all of us. They shouldn't be getting paid to protect a certain race or a certain,
community.
You know, yeah, exactly. So, like, I feel like it's unfair. America isn't America without poor people. You need poor people so the rich could live good.
True this.
But there's some poor people who don't want to be poor. There's some poor people who ain't satisfied with being poor. Some poor people who go to work. Like I said, cops don't know the difference between a kid who's in college working and a kid who's selling drugs or want to rob a store. They just abusing all of us. You know, I got arrested several times for basically asking. One time I got arrested for asking the cop, why you want my ID? He just randomly went to me and my friends. We just get harassed, you know, every day. I can't even go to the grocery store to buy my mom's something to eat or pick up my little sister from school or whatever without a cop thinking I'm doing something wrong. This is crazy. It's insane. You know, it's hard to live like that.
Right. And you know, and I definitely concur. But when you get to a certain, I guess a certain degree of, I guess, success, or just, I want to say success, a certain age, you have to recognize certain things. And I want to play devil's advocate. My people, you already know I'm very committed to urban America, but at the same time, I'm not going to give all the credit for our negligence to others. I'm not going to use that as a crutch or an excuse, because at the end of the day, I am 100% responsible for myself, as are you. But I won't digress too much. But I want to say, Lou, being a youth, you know, in this generation now, what responsibility? Because here's the situation. What is happening in America with Sean Bell and Amadou Diallo back some years ago, and Abner Louima and Anthony Baez, those are events that are horrible events, and they happen. But this country experiences events like that and has been experiencing events like that for years. So the reality is there's bad people, there's good people. There's people that want to see positive things. There's people that want to keep positivity out of certain places. We understand that. My thing is this. I know what the problem is. The problem is there's individuals that don't feel that some communities should have what they have, or they don't merit the level of a luxury that they may have, and that's fine. They're entitled to that opinion. Now, what does that community think? Because this is how I feel about it. Yes, we're becoming an endangered species, but what role? Now, let's be honest, because you have to go both ways. You know, we definitely have to be more on our P's and Q's. But I believe that if the youth start accepting and recognizing the role that they play in their future, or the role that they play when things happen, then they may, you know, have better chances. Like when I listen to the 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement, and they give you specifics. Listen, when you get stopped by the police, there's 7 things that you should do. Right? Number 1, the police are not the judge. Trying to plead your case to the police, it's not really going to work. They're not the magistrate. They're not the judge. They are the pawn. on the chess table. They come and get you. They let the administrators work it out. So hold your tongue, because you will have your day in court, as they say. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times we so focused on our freedom of speech that sometimes we endanger ourselves by trying to talk ourselves out of something to the wrong person. You may have a valid argument, but you might be arguing it to the wrong person or presenting it to the wrong person, i.e. in the form of the police or whoever the case may be, your best friend or your mans in them. They can't help you. But I want to ask you, because even though you're young and you're much more susceptible, even like it happens to any of us, unfortunately, it seems like if you're under 25, you're more susceptible to this type of violence, sadly. You know what I'm saying? Not this, but it seems like that. But it's also under 25, your mind and your whole personality is, the world can't tell me nothing. So what I want to do for urban America, as opposed to just blaming others folks for our situation, because it is a lot of blame on other people, but to counter that, because they're going to be them. People are going to do what they're going to do. What is it that you think the youth can start doing for themselves to kind of circumvent this possibility of becoming, or this theory of us becoming an endangered species, or maybe even a reality of us becoming an endangered species?
You just gotta love yourself. You know what I'm saying? You dig? Like you gotta realize you matter. Like you gotta care about yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, there's a system out there that's gonna take care of you.
No question.
So like we need to clean up the streets, but we gotta clean up our own act. Their idea of cleaning up the streets is throwing us all in jail. When I mean they, I mean like the police and these people, political, the so-called black leaders or whatever. They don't really care about the hood, because if they did, they would be in the hood. They could complain about the language in hip-hop, but can't complain about the conditions. You're never going to clean up the language until you clean up the conditions in our neighborhood. So, I mean, we just got to start caring about each other. Stop wasting time. I'm going to just say it like this. Get money. This may seem blunt or ignorant, but I just got to say it like, get money or die. Because if you don't get money, you don't live. You die, literally. So get money. If you're young, you better open up a bank account, get a job, stay on your grind, use your money wisely, stop buying 5-cent bubble gum, save your money.
Do we have to have every Jordans that come out?
Not really. Like, people don't even wear Jordans.
I don't even think Michael Jordan wear Jordans.
Nah, you wasting your money. Like, save your money. Think about the future. Think about where you're going to be 5 years from now. Because they finna make the projects private houses. So, they going to raise the rent. You can't afford the rent, you're going to be homeless.
No question.
Just get money.
Now, I want to talk about something, because, endangered species is a very apropos topic that I did a show recently. I've done actually a couple of shows with Empty Dreams and, the Setup Part 2, Who Rules Urban Schools. And in the last show I did about Empty Dreams, the plight of urban schools, I addressed the issue and the fact that every year, there's at least a million urban public school students dropping out of school before they graduate. Now, if they're dropping out of school at that number, there's less than a million African American or black males in college annually. So it's not a million of us in school every year, but it's a million of us dropping out of high school every year. Where are we going? So in that particular regard, we are contributing to our endangerment. But I know you said something earlier, Offset, and a couple of things you said, and I want you to make reference to school, because school might not have wasn't your favorite place to be. You might learn differently, but there was a reason that you made a certain decision in school when you were. So I want to talk about that dynamic that led you to do that.
I'm gonna definitely tell you, like, I'm a high school dropout. I'm a 9th grade dropout, but I tried to go to school, but it's like, how I'm gonna focus on math when I gotta worry about getting my face slashed on my way to class, and the teachers don't care if we pass. All they want is their cash. All I mean is, like, people drop out of high school for a reason. Everybody wants to go to college, but it's like we got so much insanity going on around us. It's like, it's crazy. Like, how I'm gonna focus on school. Every day is a fight. Everybody had a weapon. Somebody getting shot at least once a week. Even the teachers had weapons. The schools I went to, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it just got to the point where I'm like, I can't take it. I'm gonna drop out, get my GED. Try to get my GED, fail my GED. Now I'm trapped in this vicious cycle, unemployed, in the projects, more likely to run into a situation with a cop, more likely to be a victim by a cop. So it's like, it's a cycle we need to end. I think it starts in the home,
no question,
schools, education. So
right, definitely in the home, because if it doesn't start at home, most people need to realize actions and behaviors are primarily taught. Right? When you're a child, you see your dad shaving at the sink, you standing on the toilet, you act like you're shaving. Little girls see their mother putting on lipstick,
right.
or they walk in their mom's shoes. So we emulate what we see our people do. And this is why a lot of my frustrations, not necessarily with the youth, it's with my generation and the parents, because it's your responsibility to make sure your child has what they need. It's your responsibility to make sure that the schools are doing what your child needs. It's your responsibility to make sure that you can provide the opportunities that you feel they don't want you to have. If you feel they don't want you to have them, then you have to make it happen. There is no in between. There are no excuses. Excuses are like feet. That's not the phrase, but you know what it is. We all have one or two.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And and sometimes it bothers me because I'm from the hood too. I'm from the South Bronx. You know what I'm saying? I went to Stevenson High School, rough, but I was fortunate enough and I was wise enough to youth to listen to my mother, listen to a teacher, listen to an elder at the store. Just listen to someone that has come before me, because the reality is they may know just a little bit more. And it's a reason that they're telling you to go to school, do the right thing, focus, stay out of trouble, stay away from drugs. So I want you in your own opinion. Because I wanted to talk about, we could talk about all day, all the tragedies that coming while we become an endangered species. But I want to know what we're doing to contribute to our endangerment.
All right. Like, I wanted to say, before I dropped out of high school, everyone told me, go to school, stay in school, stay in school, stay in school. But no one told me I'd be miserable if I keep skipping school. No one broke it down to me. No one told me if I drop out of high school, I'm going to experience hunger. No one told me when you don't have a high school diploma, you less than an immigrant. No disrespect to the immigrants. I love y'all, but it's like when you don't have a high school diploma, they will get hired over you. In fact, they'll hire you, fire you. Like, you need, without a high school diploma, besides rapping, going to the NBA, if you don't make it there, what you gonna do? Join the army? So it's like people in the hood, they leave a war in the streets to go to another war in the Middle East. So it's like it's a trap. It's like you gotta get your education, you gotta find a way out. So I mean, it starts there. That's where it stems from, school. Because just like some people in the hood, the ignorance, like they look at a drug dealer or somebody who went to jail like he's cool. Somebody who goes to college and work is soft. That's just like when you're in elementary school. That's like in elementary school when the kid who got 100 on every test is a punk, and the dude that fails getting suspended every day is tough.
What is that? What is that, Lou? What is that?
That's like when somebody fails and they just.
Why is failure considered some status in the hood? What is that?
I can't really call it. It's just.
But see, we have to be able to. See, that's the problem. See, if we can't call why we think going to jail is cool, but getting a 95 is weak.
Exactly.
There's a problem. Do you understand that? If you think going to jail
cooler
is what it is,
if that's
but getting a 95 is like, yo, come on, you are heard for that. Are you kidding me? My people, we are the original kings and queens. You can't possibly believe that excelling or being a scholar is not cool. Come on, come on now. You don't believe that, do you? You think about it.
I think surviving is the key. Like, I feel like, to me, it's gangster. I didn't know this when I was a kid. I was ignorant too, but like, it is so gangster for somebody to go to college and work. That is gangster. I'm a high school dropout, so I'm not a hypocrite. I didn't make it there. I'm gonna still make it through my talents. But like, even if somebody who just came from jail, with a scar on their face or whatever, and they still make it and still support their kids, that's amazing. That's phenomenal. But going to college is gangster. That's all I gotta say.
Let me ask you, what do you think, Lou? When we come off, just the tangible. We know what some of the tangible reasons why kids might not drop out. The teachers, maybe they don't show that they care, or the school is lax with security, or there's no books, or you just don't feel like I can touch something that's really going to allow me to get there. Aside of the tangibles, what do you think some of the intangibles that the youth are just gravitating toward, that's keeping them from just staying focused on school? I mean, I understand school might not be the favorite place and the best place you want to be. It's the best place for you. May not be the best place you want to be, but it's the best place for you because you just broke down what your options are when you don't have that. And the sad thing is, this, what I tell people, when you're a minor, I don't like the word minor, when you're a youth, you don't know what you don't know. And that's the biggest detriment to your life, not knowing what you need to know. Because at some point in time, you're going to cross that road. And if you have not been properly prepared, if you have not properly educated yourself, if you're not ready when that comes across, How do you deal with that? And that's what I want to talk about. There seems to be a psychological imbalance going on in the minds of urban youth. You know, I'm not out there on the block like that. I go through the block in my hood because I keep it. I'm from here. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm a grown man now, and I have more responsibilities. But I don't knock the brothers that's outside depending on what you're doing. But what is it, Lou, that just seems to gravitate youth to the street and not to areas of progressive environments?
Choosing the easy way out. Like, I didn't get on my grind until I really realized, like, okay, I don't got a job. I'm in the hood. I'm hungry. I need money. I was forced to grind. I did from minimum wage to selling haze to doing what I got to do and working on my music, knowing, you know, I'm blessed because I got a talent. But some people, everybody ain't going to make it through the music. Everybody ain't going to be Jay-Z or LeBron James. So what's going to happen to them? It's sad. So we need more opportunities. The youth just need to know what time it is. And I think rap artists, I'm not blaming rap artists because we already getting the blame.
Right.
But we got opportunity to really save lives, you know. So if you rap, you better be saying something real because these kids are listening.
Right, and it's like I will never say, "Oh, you're a role model." Listen, that rapper. I think if you take, and I tell this because sometimes I had conversations with my mother or other, and they say, "Oh, but these rappers, they don't responsible." I said, "Listen, you understand the dynamic of America. People want it hungry. They see I can sell a record, sell an iTunes, and I can get rich, and I can get up out the hood.
Right.
The goal is get up out the hood.
Right.
Now, if you take this 18-year-old kid who maybe father was in jail, mother was selling drugs on the street, and she expects him to sell drugs to contribute to the household economy, because it's real like that in the hood.
Right.
And when your mama is telling you, listen, you need to get out there and keep that hustle alive because your daddy not here no more, that's a rough situation for that young child to be in, you know what I'm saying? And that's real. And if you don't think that that's real in urban America, I'm telling you, it's real. Understand that. But at the same time, we want to hold that individual to certain standards and certain laurels. And I think it's really just unfortunate. So I say that when you take an 18-year-old kid and last week he was hustling, slinging that thing, trying to figure out how he going to eat and feed his moms to keep her off his back or keep the keys in his pocket if he don't come through with that G a week she need. And now he goes in the studio with some extra money. He makes a record. Bow, the record's a smash hit. It blows up. It sells 2 million records. Now he's on everybody's magazine, everybody's video, and all over the radio. And now society expects this 18-year-old kid, because he's a rapper with a platinum record, to be a role model. No,
exactly.
He's not a role model. He is someone that was hungry last week, had an opportunity, took a chance, and got lucky.
Made it.
And he is not equipped mentally or spiritually or emotionally to come back and maybe guide that young youth out of the community.
Exactly.
However, with great power or wealth comes a certain degree of responsibility. And when you have that wealth and you do have the power to be on TV, on the influence the youth, because you know you're influenced in the youth. You see how they dress. You hear their language. So you have to know as an entertainer, whether you're a rapper, actor, singer, there's an influence. And with that influence comes a degree of responsibility, whether you want it or not. Because if you don't want that responsibility, then you may have to change careers. Because if you're going to be in front of the camera and the media is going to expose you, they're exposing what you do and your actions to those that look like you or coming behind you and want to emulate you. So the way to change the community is be the beacon of change that you want to see. So if you don't care about what's going to happen to the community, if you don't care that young black kids are dropping out of college, and you from that community, if you make it out the projects and you don't come back and put $100,000 to build a community center or a park, then you are them. Yeah. You are the they that we say they should talk about. Now, we got a few minutes, but I want to give my man Lou opportunity because this is a really great time, and he's going to be back again because he's going to be my liaison. You know what I'm saying? My Harlem liaison to the youth out there, because that's how I keep it connected, because it's a serious situation. I want to give you this opportunity to get that last point. Let them know what it is, Lou.
With hip-hop, as far as blaming hip-hop artists, I know, artists have a responsibility, but it's like, people, like the middle class, like, Bill Cosby, Oprah, they pay their dues, but, like, you can't blame hip-hop artists, who come from the hood. It's like, all right, you got kids, all right, we come from the streets, we make it to the middle class level. They only mad at Oprah and all of them, they mad at the language because they're hearing it around them. But it's cool to live like that, but it's not cool to speak about it. So they blaming us for the language, they blaming us for everything, all the violence that goes on in society. You know, it's unfair. So if you're a rapper, just, you know, take advantage of the opportunity you got. You know what I'm saying? Be responsible with your lyrics and your music, whatever.
Right.
So.
And if you're not a rapper, take responsibility with what you have, meaning the God-given life. You're able to do whatever you want. Anything worth having is not going to come easy.
Yeah. Let me make one more statement. I'm sorry about the police. If you're watching this and you're young and you haven't decided what to do with your life yet, whether you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, and you hate minorities, you hate black people, you hate Hispanics or whatever for some reason, just become a police officer. Because you could kill us and get away with it. That's all I got to say.
Now that's real. And I want to say it's unfortunate that that's the sentiment of a young brother from urban American youth. But it's real.
Proven.
You know, you sitting at home like, oh, I don't believe that. Well, maybe if you're above 40 or 50, then maybe you don't live that life. But that life is real. Be conscious, urban America. Be conscious, America. We are becoming an endangered species, whether you realize it or not. Check the stats on education. As I always say, you've been watching the Urban Wall Street Project. Stay mindful. Stay peaceful. Stay prosperous. Don't give up. Don't be lazy. Don't be apathetic. Your world is yours. Take it. Till next time, peace.